box so we can get people all the details they need to know. This severe thunderstorm's located over Dale, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So again, if you are within this tornado warning, you need to go ahead and seek shelter immediately. I'm going to zoom in on the area of concern real quick. We're going to pull up our velocity scans. And this right here, this little inflow notch, that's where we're seeing some cause for concern. Right now, it's located well off to the west. There's no one in the area at this point, but if it holds together, it will eventually be moving right into Colleton County. So we got to watch this really closely over the next 30, 45 minutes, I'd say. So let's pull our reflectivity back up here. We're going to clear this, and we're going to zoom in on some locations that could be impacted by this here in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Right now, Hollywood, Ravenel, Maggot, Wadmalaw, you are not included in this tornado warning, but we are watching the progression of this as it eventually will be approaching some of these areas. So this is in effect for Colleton County right now, and it's down to the south of 17 here. So one other thing I want to point out is now is not the time to be driving along Highway 17. If you know any family or friends in the area that could be traveling along 17, go ahead and let them know, give them a heads up that, again, now is just not the time to do this. Meteorologist Grace Lau is going to zoom in again on that area of rotation for us. This is what we're concerned with. You know, these little notches here within a squall line that's pushing through the low country, that can show some potential for tornadic activity, and that's what we're concerned with here. You can kind of see it right here, this bright red area and some very dull green. So it's not strong rotation, but it's just enough to cause for concern here. So kind of zooming in on some areas. Chisholm, this is at this point off to the north and east of you. So we're looking at places like Ashapoo Landing, Wiggins as well. And eventually this is just pushing off to the east. So like I said, anyone along 17, Green Pond, for example, if you were thinking about getting out on the roads right now with this tornado warning, the best thing for you to do is to move into that interior room away from all windows. Try to get as many walls in between you and the outside of your house as possible as this continues to push off to the east. So that's what we're watching really closely right now. But additionally, Grace, what we're concerned with is this track of this squall line moving through the low country eventually could get into more populated areas like Hollywood, Ravenel, even portions in the Johns Island, Wadmalaw. We'll need to be watching those areas as eventually it will be approaching us. It's moving about 45 miles an hour. And again, it's only about 30, 40 miles out. So within the next half hour, 30 minutes, we're going to keep a really close eye on some of these areas here, Grace, as well.
Hey, Jed, yeah, you're right. I mean, we were watching this line of storms a little bit earlier this morning, and we knew that this was something that we were going to be seeing a bit closer towards 10 to 11 o'clock, right? So not only are we looking at this tornado warning, of course, along these long line of storms, there is a severe thunderstorm warning as well. This is in Colleton County. We're looking at some strong wind gusts as well. I know yesterday a few of you were seeing some damage in your neighborhood because of those winds, right? So this is something else we're going to continue to monitor for you. If you're just now joining us, it's 9:50 right now. We have a tornado warning. This is until 10:15 for portions of Colleton County. So let's go ahead and zoom in once again. And I know, Jed, we were over here and we were kind of watching this, and you're pointing out, hey, these are the areas right now we're watching. Of course, this is a bit closer towards those areas near Chisholm, near Wiggins, Ashapoo Siding, Fenwick. You guys are within this tornado warning. So if you are within this warning right now, this is moving pretty fast to make sure you guys are within that safe space. I know, Jed, you mentioned if you have any friends or family that have to take Highway 17 for work,
right,
call them, make sure they're okay. Say, hey, guys, you're within this tornado warning. Let's go ahead and put it on a lapse as well right now to kind of show you how fast this is moving as well. This is along that long line of storms since early this morning. I remember you said, hey, give us about 3 to 4 hours. We'll be seeing this. This has held together. And now what we're looking at is this tornado warning. Like I mentioned, until 10:15 right now. I'm going to go ahead and pause it again just to show you how what folks are underneath this warning. This is right on the edge of Ravenel and Hollywood. We'll be with you into these next several minutes just to see if they extend this or not.
Exactly.
Jed, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and you tell me what you see here. I mean, this is just, you know, something that we were expecting this morning, right? We knew this was going to hold together. And as it got closer and closer, we were saying, hey, all right, this is going to be a bit breezy into this morning.
Absolutely. And you know, right now it's over an area that's not very populated, so that's the good news here. But if it does hold together, if we end up continuing to see this rotation, eventually this will be approaching much more populated areas. We talked about, we have Hollywood, we have Ravenel, Johns Island, Wadmalaw, all in the eventual path of this. I will say that latest scan not looking quite as strong as far as the rotation goes. I'm not seeing any clear definitive sign that there's a tornado there. What we're looking at is the potential for one there,
Yeah.
because you get that little bit of an inflow notch. And I'll go back over to the weather wall so we can kind of point this out again, Grace.
Yeah.
You get a squall line moving through the low country. Oftentimes it's a quick spin up tornado, which we do have the possibility for with this storm. With that inflow notch that we were kind of talking about earlier, and you know, here's another scan. This one just came in at 9:52. And it looks even less impressive to me. So that's the good news there. But you notice some slightly brighter colors here. That's where we could be looking at, very minimum, a damaging wind threat with this. But at this point, I'm not really seeing a huge inflow notch like we were earlier, Grace. So hopefully that's a good trend as this continues to progress off to the east, that we're losing the possibility for a tornado here. But either way, there is a tornado warning out. And again, this is for portions of Colleton County. We have to keep watching this as it continues to push off to the east. Every now and then, when we get a squall line like this racing through the low country, you get these quick spin-up tornadoes like I was talking about. So just as much as it kind of went away here, well, as it continues to push off to the east, it could happen again. And I mean, we already have the possibility, or at least we had the possibility of a tornado earlier. And again, things are looking a little bit more outflow dominant to me right now. And what essentially that means is just straight line winds being the main concern. So that's what I like to see. Hopefully this trend continues, but it still needs to be monitored as it pushes off to the east, because especially, Grace, like we said, it's over an area that's not super populated right now, but give 20 or about 30, 45 minutes, it will be. Eventually it'll be pushing into places like Ravenel, Hollywood, Wildma, even Johns Island. We'll be getting pretty close there too, Grace.
Hey, Jay, I mean, yeah, you're right. If anything, if you're within this warned area, what you're hearing possibly is that rumble of thunder, seeing a lot of lightning strikes within this as well. If you are near Hickory Hill, of course, you're within that tornado warning, but you are dealing with some very strong winds. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the rain rate as well, right? Because seeing how heavy that rain is, there's a lot of deeper reds here, and you see certainly something we're going to continue to watch as well. Not only are you seeing that heavy wind, you're seeing a lot of rain within this as well. So, I mean, seeing just near about 5 inches within an hour, that means a rain rate, right? That doesn't mean you're seeing 5 inches. It just means, hey, guys, it's pretty heavy out there. So something we're going to continue to watch for you. Checking in right now on that tornado warning. If you're just now joining us, this one area has been warned in portions of Colleton County underneath a tornado warning. And Jed, I know we've been watching this line of storms. We knew this was a possibility. Something else we're watching, of course, portions of Colleton County, not only underneath a tornado warning. If I move up here, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, right? Expiring at 10:15. We'll let you know if they extend that or not. But along this long line, you really see, I mean, it has stayed together since early this morning, right? Right,
Grace. So let's reset the stage here, kind of zoom out so we can give everyone who's just now tuning in a quick update. So essentially, the reason we're on air right now, 9:54, not a normal time for us to be on air, we have a squall line pushing through the low country. Earlier, there's a little bit of an inflow notch within that squall line, which again is the area where we could see some rotation earlier. It doesn't look as definitive now. That's good news. We hope that continues. But that's why we're on the air. There's a tornado warning in place because of that. The National Weather Service called it out. They spotted it, and they put us under a tornado warning until 10:15. So we're about 20 minutes out here. They'll either let this expire or they could potentially extend it. Right now, my suspicion is they will let this expire, because when we turn on velocity, Grace, it just doesn't really have a strong signature that we would be looking for. Remember, velocity is essentially, when we're looking for areas of rotation, our reds and our greens really close together, especially if they're brighter. And right now it looks to me like it's very outflow dominant. And what that means for us is that this is mainly a gusty wind, straight line damaging wind threat. So even if there is no tornado actively with the storm right now, it's still a danger, because we could be looking at damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour. So that's also a big concern with this storm, Grace.
I know, and this is once again, if you're just now joining us, if you're hearing that rumble of thunder, if you're hearing some of that rain headed your way, yes, you are underneath that tornado warning. We're still going to go ahead and say, just make sure you're in your safe space. Early this morning, this is 9:56. People are up and about getting their day started. You may want to go ahead and hold off on getting on the roadways, especially you mentioned 17, right? Even if you're in some of these areas driving, this is heavy, heavy rain, guys. This is some high wind gust outside. Some of those storms I know yesterday produced some damage a bit closer towards Somerville. This is that same idea early this morning. So make sure you're paying attention. This is going to continue to move through. We knew it'd be getting to the metro area closer to around 11 or 12 o'clock. Still looks that way right now. This is moving pretty fast. So even if you are underneath this tornado warning, yes, we're really not seeing that rotation we were just a couple of scans ago. but it's still some heavier wind, right? Straight line winds can cause a lot of damage. We've seen these with storms in the past, even just yesterday.
Exactly. Well, let's go ahead and pull up that velocity again and just talk about that damaging wind threat. I'm going to step back over to the green screen. We can point out some communities that are currently in the path of this. Again, this is kind of out mainly in no man's land so far, but again, it eventually will be approaching some more highly populated areas. But right now, again, this entire area, especially right along 17, you need to be in your tornado safe place. I know I've been talking about weak rotation with this at this point, but you should still take your tornado precaution. What does that mean? Get as many walls in between you and the outside of your house as possible. Stay away from the windows. So we have Ashapoo siding here. We have Wiggins. It's moving through that area right now. Ashapoo up to the north. So again, a lot of these areas, if you have family or friends in these areas, it's a bit more rural. Go ahead and shoot them a text, even better. Give them a call, give them a heads up. There's a tornado warning in place, and it would not be a bad time to go ahead and seek shelter. And then additionally, we talked about 17, like Jacksonboro, for example. If you have family or friends here, this is more populated, and it would be best to just stay put where you are. Get as many walls in between you and the outside of your house as possible. Like I mentioned, stay away from the windows, because even if there is no tornado within this squall line, we could still see that damaging wind threat. And then additionally, with a squall line moving through the low country, we can get periods where it rotates a little bit and we get concerned about it. That's why the National Weather Service issued this tornado warning. And then we also get periods where it winds down and then it can go right back up again. In fact, Grace, why don't we zoom in on this little area right here that's tracking right over 17 and just get a closer look at this. Pull up velocity on that too, just to make sure that isn't a new area that could be rotating. It might be. We'll keep an eye on this, but right now, again, I'm mainly looking at a damaging wind threat with this. This is right over the 17 here, just off to the east of Clover Hill Road, excuse me. And this is continuing to push off to the east. So many locations in this area we do need to be watching out for. And that includes, you know, places like Wadmalaw, even Johns Island, even eventually West Ashley. We're watching the progression of this squall line as it eventually is tracking off to the east, Grace. So again, tornado warning in place for the next about 15 minutes. We're going to stay with it until it either expires or they potentially issue a new one. But so far, things are looking a little bit more tame now than they did about 10-15 minutes ago. So that's some good progression there with this storm, Grace.
Hey, Jed, I mean, yeah, you're right. Something I want to go ahead and give you an update on. They have continued the tornado warning. This is from the National Weather Service chat right now. This was dropped around 9:57, right? So that tornado warning still remains in effect until 10:15 for portions of Colleton, and a little sliver here, you notice, a bit closer towards other counties as well. So once again, we're going to go ahead and continue with you all morning long until this is lifted. 10:15 right now. That looks like the expiration time. Once again, if you're within this tornado warning, we're not really seeing that rotation signature, but something else we are watching, high wind gusts. And those straight line winds can still cause a lot of damage. Just because you're not within this tornado warning, I'm going to move up a little bit further right near Walterboro, other inland parts of Colleton County, or within that severe thunderstorm warning, right? I know we just got a check and see if there's any damage reports. Right now, we're not getting any, but let us know what you see. You're our eyes and ears out there, what's going on, but something, yeah, we're going to continue to stay with you here as we continue the rest of this morning. Got about 15 minutes left in this, so within those areas, right? And like Jed mentioned, this is an area that's not highly populated, but if you know someone within this area, just make sure you give them a call. Say, hey, you're within this tornado warning. Even if there is no rotation, I'm going to go ahead and say, Jed, this looks like we're seeing some high wind gusts.
Absolutely.
And this was something, once again, yesterday. Remember, we were seeing those higher wind gusts, a lot of damage in Somerville. That same idea to it as you're waking up early this morning. So 10 o'clock right now. Let's go through some of the places that are seeing some of that heavier rain. Right near Wiggins, if anything, you're dealing with higher wind gusts, heavier rain. A bit closer towards Willtown Bluff, Barrowville, Adams Run, right? A bit closer towards Parker's Ferry, Jacksonboro near 17 as well. You guys would be next. I'm sure you're kind of hearing it roar right now as we move through these next 15 minutes or so, but you're within this tornado warning. Other warnings on the map. Let's go ahead and reset, give you that wider perspective. What we're seeing, severe thunderstorm warning just above that tornado warning. And like I mentioned, I mean, these kinds of warnings are like, hey, yes, you're within this tornado warning, but a little bit further north, right in our inland counties, you're still dealing with those higher wind gusts and heavier rain out there. Make sure you're staying inside as well.
Yes, and you know, we were talking about this earlier, but one of the worst places you can be during just a severe thunderstorm warning in general, but one that has potentially some rotation in a tornado would be a vehicle. So, you know, we have 17 running right through the middle of this tornado warning right now. So if you know any family or friends, we talked about this earlier, that we're thinking about heading west on 17, maybe out of Ravenel, maybe out of Hollywood, go ahead and shoot them a call and let them know, hey, stay put. Get as many walls in between you and the outside of your house as possible. Stay away from the windows. Just do not get into that vehicle and try to drive right through 17. You're noticing that some of the brighter reds there, those are some of the stronger wind gusts with this. Easily, we're looking at damaging wind gusts within that little area. And that's right over 17 right now, and it's approaching Jacksonboro. It'll be in Jacksonboro in about 15 minutes or so. So again, just if you're in those areas, we are looking at the possibility of wind gusts in excess of 58 miles per hour. Grace, you just showed us a gust of nearly 60, and that's just our radar estimating that. So at the surface, it could be even a little bit stronger than that. But the good news is, like we've been keeping an eye on, the rotation has continued to weaken here, and it does look like a gusty outflow event. But just like we were talking about with squall lines, they can spin up really fast, go away really fast, and then come back. So we do need to watch out for the potential for that as it continues to push off to the east, eventually into way more populated areas. I'm also waiting to see if they are going to potentially cancel the tornado warning. It looks like they have canceled this tornado warning, so they're agreeing with us, and the National Weather Service has been examining this storm, and we're looking at mainly just gusty outflow winds at this point. But if something changes and we end up getting another quick spin up, we will be right back here and we'll have more details with that. So a quick recap for us, kind of setting the stage again. Now you notice that tornado warning box, it is now gone from our Storm Team 2 Viper radar. What we're looking at is a line of severe warning thunderstorms that are mainly producing gusty outflow winds. Not seeing a very definitive sign of any rotation. The Weather Service agrees, so they canceled that tornado warning early. It was set to expire at 10:15. Now it's 10:03 and they expired it now. So that way we can get that off the board. We're looking good as it continues to push off to the east. We had showers and thunderstorms earlier this morning. It probably helped stabilize the atmosphere, especially for some of our inland locations. For example, Somerville, I know you woke up with a little bit of rain there on the road. So as that pushes through, strong to severe thunderstorms, but tornado threat not looking as likely. So that's the good news here. But again, if anything else changes, both Grace and I will be right back with more updates. Plus, we have News 2 Midday. That is coming up at 11. We'll continue to keep you posted through this event. Thanks for watching.